plaintiff, Lizelle Roberts, first dated the defendant when they were addicted to meth, but they rekindled their romance years later once they sobered up. However, they broke up due to intimacy issues, and Lizelle is suing her ex for unpaid credit card bills. Defendant Jason Oster says the reason he and Lizelle broke up the second time around was because she cheated on him, and that's what led to their issues. Jason denies owing Lizelle for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Your Honor, Jason and I have known each other more than 15 years. We met by passing the pipe.
What do you mean by that? Y'all were crackheads?
No, Your Honor, our drug of choice was methamphetamine.
Suburban pipe.
Meth head, that's right, suburban pipe. That's a good one. Go ahead. And so how did things go from there?
Well, he and I went in and out of prison. I did 2 prison terms. He did 10 prison terms. We attempted to get sober a few times and build a life together. That didn't work very well. We would get sober, we'd start to rebuild, he would relapse.
When did you all start dating?
This time around or in the beginning?
No, first time, because you said we met smoking, but you didn't tell me when you started dating.
That was when we started dating in 2002.
Okay, when you first met.
Yes.
And smoking crystal meth, you all began dating right after that, or at that time. All right. Did you all ever move together?
No.
Okay, good enough. Never moved in together. All right, and things they were off and on for all those years?
A good amount of those years.
Okay, what else you want to tell me before I go to him?
We reconnected in October of 2017.
When did you end?
Huh?
You say you reconnected. When did you end?
That was in April of 2012.
Okay, ended in 12 and got back together in 17. All right, go ahead.
Yes.
How'd that go?
This time was very different. Jason had finally, I guess, hit his rock bottom, and he had a new commitment to being sober, and things just felt different. He was doing such a great job at piecing his life together, and we decided we would start again, So we got together, and things were going great in our relationship. But we started to have some problems in our relationship. We started to have intimacy issues.
Did you think the intimacy issues had to do with a relapse, perhaps?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, because that happens. You know that people they lack the ability when they're high. All right, a lot of people I've heard of, when you smoke crack, that's all you want is crack. You don't want a woman. You're going to say pass the pipe instead. All right. And what made you guys break up then, if it wasn't intimacy problems, or was that the problem?
That was the major problem. It was a major problem, and I suggested that we get some couples counseling. And we actually did, but even then, Jason didn't want to continue the couples therapy. So this made things very difficult in our relationship, and it was almost like I felt like it was me. I started to internalize, the fact that he did not have any interest in me, and I started to think, well, maybe he wasn't attracted to me because I'd put on weight. So I felt rejected. And at the end of July 2020, I told Jason, this just is not working. This isn't working, and you don't want to get help, and I can't continue.
Sir, what do you want to say about the breakup? And did it culminate in a particular thing, or it was kind of like baby, we can't work this out, so until we can work it out, let's separate. Is that how it went? Or was there a big blow up?
Your Honor, no, that's not how it went.
Tell me.
Actually. Basically, with the breakup, before having the conversation about that, she had decided to see somebody else while we were still together. So that's what the breakup was about.
Did you all have intimacy problems?
We did have, there were intimacy issues within our relationship. Like she said, we have 15 years worth of history, and the beginning of our history didn't start out as best. We didn't have the best story going on.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of things that we were dealing with in life with our own demons, in which throughout 15 years of off and on, and a lot of times, yes, it was me that kind of, throughout 15 years of off and on, we accumulated, so to speak, a lot of dirt with each other, hurting one another back and forth with certain issues that arose.
She said that it was so bad you all had to go and get couples counseling, and that you stopped, meaning that you chose not to do what it was necessary to maintain a relationship.
Well, there was more than one issue at hand. She had the issue of lack of intimacy on her behalf. With me, I was a little bit frustrated because I feel we've been together for 15 years, and why do we still live 2 freeways apart when we make enough money to be able to get our own place? But this was an issue that we've been going back and forth. Not saying that her issue was right or wrong, not saying my issue was right or wrong, but nevertheless, it was kind of a roadblock in our relationship.
What was her response when you would say, let's move in together after all those years together?
Well, by the time we had, like she said, we had about a 5-year separation before getting back together. In that separation, we both kind of lived our own separate lives. We didn't talk at all because the breakup was...
All right, but when you came back together, why didn't you move in after maybe a year or 2?
Well, because by the time that we had got back together, through that time we were apart, she has debt that she's dealing with.
Okay, I'm not getting the clarity on why you all didn't move together, and that's your business, and so we're going to move beyond that. And that is the credit card bills you're suing for, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would just like to say the reason that we didn't move in together is because I'm in debt, and I have 2 different consolidations going, and I don't have the money to invest into rent, and also because at the time, Jason was just newly starting a job, and he didn't have the resources to actually get us into a place either.
Okay, so you didn't have a single place either?
No.
Okay, well, that's why then you couldn't move in. You didn't have your own place. All right, and he wasn't prepared financially. Got it, no problem. Let's get to the credit card bill.
Yes,
what
sir.
happened here?
So, because neither one of us had our own place, the way that we would spend time together is we would get hotel rooms on the weekend. And after getting hotel rooms for so long, I said, hey, you know what, let's apply for this Priceline credit card so we can at least accumulate points for future stays. And I went ahead and applied for that Priceline Visa card, and we agreed whatever we put on that card for spending time with each other that we would split evenly. That was in, that was in September of 2018. And in September of 2019, we got a Costco Visa card together we were going to use it originally for gas, but we ended up using it for more than that. So we accumulated quite an amount of money on those 2 cards.
And what was the agreement on repaying?
The agreement was that we were going to pay half of each card. So for the year that we used both cards, we were making minimum payments to both cards. So whatever the
half and half was. Half and half?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
by the end of 2019, the Costco card was almost at its limit. And I told Jason, we have to stop using the Priceline card because the interest rate is just crazy. Plus, he was in the process of finally moving into his own place, so we weren't going to have to use that card for hotel rooms anymore. At that same time, Your Honor, in like October of 2019, we got a family phone plan together. So it was me, my son, and him and his grandmother. And instead of us sending money back and forth to each other, the amount of me and my son's phone bill was pretty much equivalent to the payments that I was having to make to Priceline and Costco. So I agreed I would make the payments to Priceline and Costco, and he would take care of our phone bill. And this went on until August.
And what happened in August?
Well, at the end of July, actually, is when we broke up. And I started to date. And when Jason found out that I was starting to date, he got very angry at me because in his mind, he said we were taking a break, that we were not broken up. But that was not what was happening.
Okay, y'all can talk about that later. So what happened with this payment? When did he stop doing that?
He stopped doing that in August. He removed himself from our family plan, from our family phone bill in August.
Okay. Sir, what do you want to tell me about this?
Your Honor, like before we even had this phone agreement, I've submitted evidence. But if you go back to the past, I also was still paying my half of what we agreed to pay. And during the whole time together that we had that agreement that I would pay the phone bills, the actual agreement was this. So technically, if our phone bill was, let's just say hypothetically speaking, $250 a month, I paid the whole phone bill. So her $125 that I paid, she would put that towards a credit cards, like she said.
What time frame was this, ma'am, that he owes for?
If you take a look at page 3 of my evidence, let's see, the end of July 2019, the end of July 2019, you'll see that the full balance.
Yeah. Let me stop you before we go further. I thought he was only responsible for the phone bill.
Your Honor, the portion of the phone bill that he paid was equivalent to the money that I would make payments towards our.
No. You said he was required to pay all of the phone bill.
Yes, Your Honor, but only half of that was mine. Only half.
No, ma'am. The agreement was that he paid. What am I missing? You said the agreement was that he paid the phone bill and you paid the credit card. That's what you told me.
Yes.
So.
But there's still. Your Honor, we were supposed to continue that agreement until the balance.
Right. So what does he owe for the phone bill? That's all we're considering here. You said that was the only thing.
He doesn't owe for the phone bill, Your Honor. Once he took himself off of the family plan, he wasn't going to give me any more money towards the credit card. So that was the end of the agreement. But
okay, so you started a new agreement. What was the new agreement?
There was no new agreement because.
Okay, so then you have to stick with the first one, and that is he's only responsible for the phone bill, not what you're suing him for, because that's the agreement. He paid the phone bill and the credit cards you pay.
But Your Honor, we were only doing it that way.
Ma'am, I can only go with agreements. You changed the agreement. Did you agree to change the agreement, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, he says he never agreed to change the agreement from paying for the phone bill and you for the credit cards. If he never agreed to change it, how do... Pardon?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. Can I interrupt here? I have evidence on page 12, if you take a look. Jason sent me a text message on August 25th saying you could take the ticket money and apply to Best Buy's. He owes me for the TV he bought through Best Buy.
What page again? I'm sorry. What page?
On page 12.
Okay. Go ahead.
So Jason had bought a TV at Best Buy's in June of this year. He wanted to take advantage of the 0% financing for 18 months. So he bought a TV for $718. Jason and I had a travel credit for a trip that we didn't end up taking because of COVID. So I was giving him $171.
You all have intermingled your funds like a married couple, and that's how I'm going to treat you. Every sentence I hear is some new entanglement of your funds. I'm going to treat you like a married couple. Been together a total of 14, 15 years, and now you want me to nickel and dime this. I'm not. 3,600 divided by 2 is what? That's what you get, ma'am. You get your half like you would if you were married, since you all are planned married.
1,800.
1,800 is your judgment. Have a good day.